Hey there, I'm Kimberly Ferguson, CEO and founder of Emerald Expectations Accounting. I'm so happy that you're here. The Emerald Corner is a place where life and business meet. So we want to share with you the process of running a business while maintaining a life with your loved ones. In today's video, we're going to be talking about what it's like to run a business with your spouse and how you can make it work too. First of all, what is it like working with your spouse? Well, there's obviously a lot of things that running a business with your spouse and actual marriage have in common. And that is that, there's a lot of ups and downs. There's a lot of things that work really well and maybe some things that don't work as well. But overall, I think it's a really great opportunity to partner with your spouse, your life partner, in a business opportunity as well. It kind of gives you a different ability to connect than any other thing there could be in your life, right? I mean, there's opportunities if you actually work with your spouse in a different capacity, but owning a business together is truly a unique experience. So as many of you know, I have worked with my spouse actually since the beginning of our relationship. We actually met at work, and then we continued to work together for several years after that in different capacities. So we did start in one job and move to, different jobs. But at some point about 7 years ago, we decided to start our own business, and we have worked together since. So I have some pretty good experience when it comes to working with your spouse. So I have a few helpful tips for working with your spouse and still wanting to be around them at the end of the day. So number one is try to get on the same page. What do you want for your business? How do you want it to operate? What's its general purpose? Get kind of aligned with how do you want to treat your customers? What kind of services or products do you want to sell? How do you want to sell them online, in person, both? What is kind of the general overview of your business as far as a general mission of your company? Start thinking about all the ways that you want to operate your business, but talk about them together. You have to get on the same page, not just I'm going to create the mission statement and you can create the, employee manual or something like that. You know what I mean? That works in a sense, because if you have certain skills, then obviously you should go ahead and divide those up. But once you do that, come back, make sure you're all on the same page. There is definitely something to be said for divide and conquer, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But make sure that you're always coming together to make those big decisions together. Get on the same page for what you want your business to look like before you start building it. Number two is to set goals. So just like getting on the same page as far as what you want your business to be, what you want it to look like, how you want to operate it, what kind of goals do you have? Do you want to grow to be the next Amazon? Or would you prefer to, keep it small and quaint and know every single one of your customers or clients, right? Think about what your sales goals should be, what your goals about hiring should look like. Maybe you don't want to have to hire. Maybe you just want to be able to do it between the two of you, and that's totally fine. But make sure that you get on the same page with those goals, because if one of you wants to be Amazon and the other one wants to be a boutique firm, that's going to cause some challenges, right? Number three is focus on your strengths. So this is kind of like divide and conquer, right? Each of you should focus on what you're good at, right? So if one of you is more creative, one of you is more business-minded, then, divvy up the job requirements based off of that information. If you've got somebody who's creative and somebody who's business-minded, you probably shouldn't have the creative person handling the budget. It's possible that you're good at budgeting as a creative person. It's, by all means. But it's more likely that the business person is probably more money-minded, and they should probably be in charge of that. Now, that doesn't mean, of course, that they're in charge of it and you get no say over it, or they do everything. It just means that they're kind of the general overseer of the budget, right? And you'll be the general overseer of, the creative stuff like social media posting, or, coming up with maybe new business ideas on how to grow your business or how to, operate your business, etc. But again, as number one, we always want to come together and get on the same page with things, but divide and conquer the tasks based off of your strengths. To kind of go along with that, number four is to choose your responsibilities. Have you ever heard the saying, you don't want to have too many cooks in the kitchen, right? So it's the same thing with any kind of relationship, right? You can't have two CEOs of a company. You have to have a CEO and then a CFO and then a COO. So if you don't know what those mean, Chief Executive Officer, chief financial officer, and then chief of operations. So there's different types of jobs that you should be in control of. You can't have two CEOs. You can't have two cooks in the kitchen. So separate the responsibilities based off of your strengths, right? Based off of the things that you're good at. And of course, try to outsource the rest. So if there's things that you're not good at, always bring in another professional. But as far as what you can do by yourself, try to separate those and give each other, responsibilities. Decide who's going to, kind of be the CEO and overseeing the operations, etc. Who's going to be, the chief of marketing, that kind of stuff. Kind of separate it, make sure that you each have your own responsibilities that you always come back together to talk about, right? Have I made that clear yet? Be on the same page, but keep your responsibilities so that you're not trying to step on each other's toes, right? And then the last thing, I recommend doing like a monthly meeting. So maybe you've heard that money is the root of many, many divorces. So talk about money. How's your revenue doing? How are you doing on expenses? Talk about how many clients or customers you have versus how many you want or need. What's working in your business? What isn't working in your business? Do you guys have any struggles within the business? Do you feel like, one person's pulling the weight more than the other person? We talk about these things when we're not in a confrontational mood so that we can actually make progress, right? Because that is when you're more likely to do it, not when you're angry and, the emotions are hot and heavy. We talk about the struggles in the monthly meeting to make some progress, right? We want to be constructive, okay? That's the biggest thing. So what do you think? Anyone out there work with their spouse too and have some tips you want to share? I'd love to hear about them below in the comments. Well, thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you in my next video.